Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
President Donald Trump was asked if he could quote any Bible verses. He then replied, "Give a man a fish, and he will eat for a day. Deport him, and you don't have to feed him again." Trump 2016. Hey, let's go now with Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a real live Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning to you. Oh, I can tell Wheels is busy over there. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and welcome to the program this morning, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with a big spring tire sale going on right now, and also some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line. Hopefully, we've got a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, there you are.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, by the way, I was going to tell you, on Thursday, the 22nd, is Lunch Bunch Day, and everybody that wears green at Lunch Bunch is going to get a free Blarney Stone.
Green?
For St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. That's my anniversary.
Oh, buddy, you owe me big time. Thanks for your call. Call me back later. Thanks. All right. Thanks much. Calls are welcome. 436-2244 or right after we get the weather in here by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Hello, Roger. Roger and out. At 7 o'clock in the morning, they start and they serve you with all the tools and equipment you need to finish any construction project or whatever. And Roger said, spring is coming. He peeked around the corner and saw it. It's a-coming. And they've got all the lawn and garden equipment you need over there at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley Paul Highway, 678-3122. Wheels, let's hear that weather.
Enjoy this day while we have it, because tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Partly sunny skies for today. A slight breeze out of the east, right around 5 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 48. Tonight, more clouds are going to roll into the valley, looking at a 10% chance of snow showers, especially up in the higher elevations. Mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 35. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the morning, switching to rain by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 47. And then for tomorrow night, 20% chance of rain showers in the evening, mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 29 as we head on into the weekend. Mostly sunny skies, high of 44. For Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 24. Then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And thank you much, Gina. And the weather forecast, of course, brought to you right off the bat this morning by K&R Rental on the Burley Paul Highway, 678-3122. You stop in and see them today, K&R Rental. Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5.
Oh, I love that chant. That guy can make an auctioneer's chant. You really can understand and follow him. Merv May, the best at, of course, the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. And the sale at 10:30 this morning at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Here's just a partial run of what's going to go through the ring today. Shoresman Ranch out at Sublet. Hello, how are you folks doing this morning? 110 head of ripping good 650 to 750 pounders. And Ward Dairy's bringing in 125 head of Holstein steers, 800 pounds. Good cattle. And then, of course, butcher cows from Funk Dairy, Acme Dairy, and TLK Dairy, along with a real good trailer line run. Sale time, 10:30 this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental, not accidental. They didn't do it by accident. It's right there on Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
I tell you what, Merv, thank you very much. I want to extend. Yesterday we had a call on the program from Rod Johnson, and he informed us that his mother, Mary Johnson, is in surgery this morning, open heart surgery. And I just want to extend the best of God's blessings and our prayers to a lady that's been so nice to us at Lunch Bunch, and we certainly pray for her full recovery and all goes well. Mary Johnson. If you have a chance, send her a card. I know she'd sure appreciate that. Want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh, they open the doors at 7:30. Throw the doors open and say, come on in, world, with the best of heating, cooling, and electrical needs. And what a staff. I mean, these people are so knowledgeable. We call them. They get the job done for us. Absolutely great. And they're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. The number to call is 678-0459. And you can depend on them having the best for warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Real quick, before we get into our first story, I also want to say thank you to Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley. And, you know, we have our monthly lunch bunch over at Denny's, and we're going to have March's Lunch Bunch in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, which goes a little bit before. And everybody wear green, and everybody that wears green will get a free Blarney Stone. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Anyway, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and also 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls, America's Diner. Yep, great food. Great food! Nice people, really servicing people to help you enjoy your dining experience at Denny's Restaurant. Don't forget, Lunch Bunch on the 22nd. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, the other day after the program was over, I didn't share this with you yesterday, but it was on Tuesday. And I had a call from a very good friend of mine, and we were talking about politics, and we were talking about what's going on behind the scenes in the Democratic Party. And really, I made a promise a long time ago, and I'm going to stand by that promise on my radio program. We are listened to every day all across the United States, and for that matter, we have listeners all over the world right now, many, many listeners. And I'm going to do all I can do legally and ethically. Those are two words I want to stress, legally and ethically, to see that Democrats of all shapes and sizes are defeated in the November midterm elections. I mean that. I think that their party platform, and I will emphasize the word platform because I don't know, because they don't show it, they don't talk about it, they don't adhere to it, what their platform is. So far, what they've represented is a lot of evil and underhanded stunts to try to get illegal aliens on the voting roster. Now, figure it out for yourself. I think they are trying to buy votes with illegal aliens and destroy the validity of our elections. And I'll say that again. Destroy the validity, the honesty, and the integrity of our elections. Illegal aliens should not, cannot, and never should step into a polling booth. Never. Now, every person that votes, and this might step on some toes out there, but if you have any nerve, you will call me if you disagree with me, but we find those people hard to find. Any person that goes to the voting booth should have a valid ID and proof of who they are. These lame, cowardly excuses, oh, well, it's hard for certain people to get in and get an ID. Bunk, bogus, and the other B word I can't say. You've got plenty of time to be aware and cognizant of when the next election is and take care of being a responsible American citizen. Go get your ID. And as far as showing the ID, I think everyone should. If not, stay home. Cheating is not allowed. And the crybaby Democrats, caller, I'll be right there, the crybaby Democrats want open doors for illegitimacy when it comes to voting. And I'm going to leave it there for a moment and come back to that in just a second. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, even if they don't vote and they're counted in the census, they affect how our voting goes.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter if they do vote as much as if they're here, and we just don't need them here.
Jerry, I am so upset about what I'm hearing in California with a defiance from Governor Jerry Brown, and again, I hesitate to give him any credence with that title whatsoever. And also the absolute pathetic mayor of Oakland defying the law and basically saying, and tell me that I'm wrong, I don't think you will, basically saying that they're more protective of illegal aliens because they want to conjure up the illegal vote than they are of protecting legal citizens.
Well, they probably got a lot more legal citizens, and they should be protecting them.
Absolutely.
It just, it makes no sense to me at all. And, this whole thing, it isn't just the voting that bothers me. Like I say, it's the fact that they affect our elections.
Yeah.
By being here and being counted in the census. That just blows me away.
Jerry, let me ask you something real quick. Are you offended? I've known you for a long time, and you are a red, white, and blue American. Are you offended, or do you feel minimalized when somebody asks you for your ID at the polls?
Nope.
Me neither.
Respect them, and I enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I expect it. I'm not offended if the fish and game officer catches me fishing and he asks for my fishing license.
Absolutely.
I'm not offended if when I'm up hunting,
absolutely,
they ask me for my hunting license.
Absolutely.
I think that's great. They're just doing their job.
Amen.
I'm sure glad to see them do it.
Amen. Jerry, thank you this morning, and God bless you, my dear friend. Thank you.
You have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless you and every one of them little children out there listening.
All right.
This morning.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate that.
Here too.
All right. Thank you very, very much. There's a guy right there, Jerry Voss, and I really do admire him and his tenacity to do the right thing and be a good American. And I'm not offended at all when I go into the polling and they say, "May we see your ID, please?" I'm proud to do that. Caller, I'm going to be right there. Stand by, please. I got to pay some bills. You're next. Don't forget Pomerell Place. Living at home, like I've told you many, many times, it can have a lot of risks for seniors living alone. I mean, it's just lonely. I mean, you get up in the morning, you're by yourself. All day, you're by yourself. All night, you're by yourself. That's not good. And safety hazards and the injuries and maybe not eating properly or maybe not even taking your medication. That's not good. Well, Pomerel Place offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. I urge you to call and find out more. 677-8212. Pomerel Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, the Destructocrats don't care that in 10 to 20 years, this country is going to be unrecognizable. And it's going to be a lawless country. But it seems that they just want to continue their destructive path to destroy America for the rest of us.
Yeah. You know, Tony, one thing I would take exception with what you said the next 10 to 20 years. My dear friend Tony, I don't think it's going to take nearly that long. We're on a road to hell right now that absolutely has to be corrected.
Hey, you know, I can't understand why President Trump doesn't step in and do a lot more than he has the power to do to protect the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and everything else that so many people have died for.
Well, I'm going to be a little gracious to the time frame, and I'm going to put a lot of the angst on Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General. He better start doing more of his job, more efficiently, quicker, and more harsh. Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, I hope he comes down on these people in California like a cat to a plate of milk.
Well, we've got too many people like Ron Emanuel and Jerry Brown that are out to just destroy this country as quickly as they can.
I agree. It is a great thing to hear from you. Say hello to Mary, and God bless you, my dear friend.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I like those folks. Good people. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. Please bear with me. I want to talk about Dino Septic Service over in Rupert. I've mentioned quite a few times that they had recently purchased Dennis Dockstetter's pumping service. Wow, they are good. Dino Septic Service, all the septic tanks pumped out and the septic tanks and drain fields installed and water and sewer lines installed, liquid waste removal. Ooh, they do the job. Fast, fair, friendly people, and they've got 2 telephone numbers. In Rupert, 436-6526. In Burley, 678-1638. With that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service, you give them a call today. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air.
You need to put those 2 ads together, Dino Septic Service and what a cat does with the stuff in the sand for California. That would be better.
Go ahead, sir. What's your point this morning?
I'd like to give you a perspective of what I think the politics are. Sometimes you can get a perspective from a farmer from Kimberly, and I'd come on your show if you'd like me to in the near future when you got something cooking. But Zeb, I think we got to do more locally to make our voices heard, because we're really not the minority. We really aren't the minority, and I think we need to perpetuate your program to the level that it ought to be, because you agree. And your viewpoint is actually there are more people who agree with you than disagree. And you need to have that perspective, because that's the truth. Okay?
Well, I certainly appreciate your comments, and believe me, I'm working as hard as I can to expand the program into more areas. But, you know, the one thing you said that I want to go back and elaborate on a little bit is our perspective is probably the biggest perspective on what should be and what has happened in the past and what needs to happen for the future as far as cleaning up the act of America. But my question back to you is, why aren't people speaking up and talking about things that need to be done, doing something that needs to be done, but they're always pointing the finger at somebody else and saying, well, why don't you go do it?
Well, I'm happy to do it. The issue is, though, that we have fake news, and all of our major news coverages are fake. I've been so disappointed with Idaho Public Television, because they're just as bad as everybody else, and yet we've got a bunch of people thinking that just because they do a little bit of good with education, we should support their political agenda. And we just need to call out truth and help people recognize that what really speaks is money. And the only thing that's going to bring CNN and ABC and NBC back to reality is money, because that's all they're really after. They're thinking they're going to get that money from the Democratic Party and the socialists and the communists. And yeah, Putin's going to give them some money. He has given them some money. And I think when that comes to fruition, some people might be able to wake up. But we need to expose truth for what it is and fake things for what they are as well.
I couldn't agree more. And by the way, I will be calling you after the program because you are welcome on this show anytime. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thanks. See you later.
You bet. Thank you. I know that man very well, and we have not had him on the program for a long time, and I'm going to call him and get him back on the air. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Over 9 years ago, I was called, and you know this story. I've talked about it many, many times. I'm not going to hide anything. I mean, I have nothing to hide. When Barack Obama started running for the presidency, at that juncture, myself, Rusty Woolridge, and others on my program were called racist and bigots and hate mongers. And the Democratic Party locally here in the state of Idaho and for the state of Idaho came after me with their spears and all their bad verbiage and really tried to smear me as being a racist. When at the same time, just to show you how dumb these people were, I was advocating, and I've got the tapes to all back this up and everything, I was advocating that Condoleezza Rice run for the presidency. Gee, they didn't say that. Gee, they didn't elaborate on that, but they came after me with TV stations, radio stations, newspaper stories to smear me as being a racist and a bigot. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. They can call me a racist and a bigot anytime they want to. But I'm looking at the Democratic Party as being one of the biggest frauds, a group of the biggest liars, and destroying what our country stands for. If they're going to make allowances for illegals to come in and vote, they're going to make allowances for the illegals to hide in the shadows in sanctuary cities, many of which are rapists, many of which are child offenders, sexual child offenders. They are, many of them, arrested for assault and battery, nearly killing people, and some even are killers. And they're letting these people hide out in sanctuary cities. We have a problem here in America. It's a problem of what is right and wrong. And evidently the Democrats didn't read the book. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Nick Greenwell and all of the great physical therapists that work there at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You know, if you've got any problems from a surgery or an accident or a strain, a sprain, whatever the case might be, they can and they will help you with a series of exercises that absolutely will help you get back to being you. And I also stress they've got that hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in this area. And oh, that hydrotherapy does help, and you'll appreciate it. Give them a call, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Burley, ready to help you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeb.
Yes.
I am kind of curious, and you probably know, what part of California is not liberal?
Oh, I know a lot of those parts.
The city?
Oh, no. I can. I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm very honest and open about all the friends that I have down there that I have made over the many, many, many years of going down to California in my rodeo business. I mean, you can go right down Highway 99 if you want to stop at Galt, California, if you want to stop at Tulare, if you want to stop at Bakersfield, if you want to stop at Clovis. I mean, Red Bluff, California. The rural areas are really good people that know and understand that they've got some major problems in their state, and they're being thwarted by the Democrats in L.A., Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco, the big hubs of population. It's sickening and frightening, and the good people in California are fed up with it.
Well, if I were California, those good people of California ought to do a little line around the liberals and make themselves a new state so they have some rights.
Well, it's just so bad.
It's a shame.
It's so bad, and it really makes me feel bad. I have made friends down there, whether they're in the dairy business or they're in the ranching business or whether they're in the police forces. I mean, all walks of life in these other communities away from L.A. and San Francisco, and they are so disgusted with the lack of leadership and the lack of being represented in the state of California. It makes me sick.
Well, and the problem is even if there's more counties or whatever they have in California that have representation at their state meetings, then those other big cities, they have so many more that they just get beat down.
If you want to test what I'm saying, you need to go to Bakersfield, California. You know, the big home of Buck Owens and the Crystal Palace and all that. I'll tell you what, I can tell you that if you go to Bakersfield and you're yelling and screaming the mantra of the Democratic Party, I'll say this, like I've said before, you better get out of Dodge City in a hurry.
Well, and that is, what is sad is that those people in California, even though they have representatives, they're not being represented.
That's right.
They're being drowned out by the liberals who are they're just so self-serving that they don't even care about. And I think they really welcome the illegals in there and sign them up the minute they step across the border just so that they have more willing voters.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I'll tell you something. I am not going to stop in my purging of the Democrats and their lack of a platform or their lack of respect for laws, rules, and regulations. I think that everybody's got to speak out. We're not that far away from the midterm elections, Chris, and everybody has to realize that in this, I'm going to be very blunt about it. I think a vote for a Democrat is a vote for evil. I really do.
Well, at the way the Democrat policies seem to be going, they hate this country, and they are working full-time to bring it down. Okay, when they bring it down, who's going to save it?
I couldn't agree more, and I always enjoy having you call, Chris. Thank you. You're a very knowledgeable lady. Thank you so much.
And thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
bet. Thank you. I like her. She's just really nice. Some people say, oh, you're being so harsh. No, I'm not being harsh. I'm not being vindictive. I'm being honest. I think we've got some real problems in this country. And I listened to Brown yesterday in California, the so-called despicable governor, and the rundown that he made against the Trump administration and against Jeff Sessions. And he even had to throw in a real barb against Fox News. I mean, they are struggling for air on the Democratic Party in California, or for that matter, all across the United States. But watch, listen, and be wary. Come election day, they are going to do all they can to try to submit people to go to the polls that are undocumented and illegal and try to get those votes to count. And then they come back with this crybaby attitude, oh, well, it's too hard to go down and get an ID. That is bogus. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One other gripe I got to get out this morning is that it's absolutely despicable and disgusting, the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan. This guy is absolutely a pathetic individual that has done nothing but preach hate and discord, and kill the whites, and kill the Jews. And what really is ironic, a lot of Democrats are siding with him and having their pictures taken with him. And if you think I'm giving you a bogus line, it's true. Even, oh my, President Obama. Oh my, Maxine Waters. Oh goodness, Keith Ellison, Muslim from Minnesota. And do you want that kind of leadership in our government? No. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb. You know, these Democrats, I don't know. You know, there's some Republicans too. It's not just Democrats. But you know what? They want the votes so they can. That's the only way they can win is to bring all the illegals in. They're losing Democrats on their party left and right. I just wish they'd stop, pull their heads out of their rear ends, and start thinking about the people that put them in office.
How dare you make such a suggestion that they start working for the people? My goodness, that died a long time ago. They're in it for the greed. They're in it for the power. They're in it for all the contacts that can help make them future incomes. What's the matter with you, lady? They don't work for the people.
Oh, my God. Was I having a blonde moment? But, you know, to be really serious, we as the people who put them in office, the only way to fix it is to vote them out.
Absolutely.
And if we can't vote them out, or if we don't vote them out, that's bad on us.
Yeah, but you're right there. Thank you. You said it. That's bad on us. We are looking at the midterms in November, and quite frankly, I would like to see every Democrat maybe get one vote. Seriously, I don't want to see them get anything.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be a kick in the rump?
Or elsewhere. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, have a good day, my friend.
All right, Donna. Thank you. Always enjoyable. Thank you. I like her. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. How does a guy like Louis Farrakhan, I mean, this is the weaseliest little... Oh, wouldn't you like to have 5 minutes in the room with this guy without all of his armed Muslim friends? Wouldn't you like to have 5 minutes in a room with him to give him a personality adjustment? I would. And he keeps preaching death to whites. Gee, last time I looked, that's me and you and others. And death to Israel and death to Jews. Wow, what kind of hatred. And then to think that the Democrats like Barack Obama, and don't give me any bogus argument, oh, well, it might have been photo spliced in there. No, it wasn't. He was there taking a picture with him. And Keith Ellison, Maxine Waters, and a lot of other notable Democrats. That is shameful. Shameful. Caller, I'll be right there. Take a sip of coffee or hot chocolate. Hold on. Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts at Highway 30 in Burley, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and in Nampa. Oh, they've got all the equipment. Yeah, they do, like all the Bobcats. They got a whole pen of Bobcats, all shapes and sizes. New and used excavators for sale or rent. Yes, they do. And all the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales. And, you know, if you're not sure what you need, stop in and talk to them. And if you're not sure how to run the equipment, they'll show you. They got a great big sandbox out behind. Don't forget Juan and the crew at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, Eli at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, and in Nampa, Barry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Today is happy birthday and anniversary dinner at the Senior Junction.
Oh, okay.
And I want to invite everybody out for turkey and dressing, mashed potatoes, and all the trimmings, and some yummy dessert to the Senior Junction between the pit stop and the cemetery on South Overland Avenue.
You know, that sounds kind of funny. Well, we're located between the pit stop and the cemetery. Drop in.
Well, you won't drop in after you have this lunch.
All right, well, I'll tell you what.
We got some new cooks out there, and I'll tell you what, they're doing a fantastic job.
Okay.
So, I got another offer. Somebody new, a single or a couple that's never been there before to lunch. Seniors, I'll buy their lunch today.
All right, Joe. God bless you, man. This is a great guy, Joe Taylor. He's forgot more about real estate than I'll ever know, and he's a sharp, nice man. And he said for anybody new, single coming in the door or doubles, a couple, come on in. He'll buy you lunch if you're first-timers at the Senior Junction. Hey, man, take care. God bless you, Joe. He's gone. Okay. Thank you very much. Good guy right there. I really appreciate him. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Do you know the two girls called Diamond and Silk? They were on television this morning at about 4:45. And what a way to start the day, to tune in and watch them, listen to them. They are sharp. And I am, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I am trying to get them on my radio program. Diamond and Silk are two very knowledgeable black ladies that absolutely are strong conservatives and absolutely are going to tell you exactly how things are. And they're going to come out and they're going to tell you about the Dreamers and DACA and the economy and how the Democrats have dropped the ball, and they are phenomenal. And at the end of their little interview this morning, they said, we could also say we are Diamond and Silk, but we're pretty classy and sassy. I loved them. So I'll try to get them on my program, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. We're still working on the time frames. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. I had a guy, I mentioned this not too long ago on the program. Maybe it was around Christmas time or whatever. But I remember years ago he criticized me, and he said, you know, by going after the Democrats and the left, you're eliminating part of your audience. Why do you do that? Why don't you just stay neutral, stay middle of the road? How could anybody do that? How can you stay middle of the road and not be honest with the public and not be honest with yourself? If the Democrats, and I know there's some locally that just absolutely despise me, that's great. I mean, that's fine. They have a right to their opinion. I am not going to try to alter it or change it. I have invited them on my program, and they very rudely, in many instances, have hung up the phone. And when I have talked to them in person about coming on the program, they have scoffed and walked away. So be it. If they haven't got the nerve to back up their convictions or to back up their so-called party platform, be that as it may, then we will continue to hammer at them until they show the professionalism and the expertise to explain where the heck they're at. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I chuckle because of all the calls and the little emails and everything after the program. Oh, boy, some of those Democrats are really tough after the program. Let's not forget our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room, and the number to call, 312-0957. These two doctors, Dr. Christine Pickup and Dr. Courtney Mitchell, absolutely are phenomenal, and you can trust your hearing needs to Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Please call for an appointment to discuss and help your hearing health, and the number 312-0957. Right now it's time for the weather.
Enjoy this day while we have it, because tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Partly sunny skies for today. A slight breeze out of the east, right around 5 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 48. Tonight, more clouds are going to roll into the valley, looking at a 10% chance of snow showers, especially up in the higher elevations. Mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 35. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the morning, switching to rain by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 47. And then for tomorrow night, 20% chance of rain showers in the evening, mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 29. As we head on into the weekend, mostly sunny skies, high of 44. For Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 24. Then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Excellent weather forecast. You know, really, the last couple of days, I'm starting to get spoiled again and thinking of spring fever. Yesterday, after all the running around and everything we had to do, came home, sat out on the bench in front of the barn for a few minutes. Oh, that sunshine was really nice. Weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And again, the number to call for a hearing screening appointment. Let them help you at 312-0957. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, folks, get on the line, give me a call. I have a concern. Excuse me, that throat's been bothering me for a couple of weeks. I have a concern that we are going to see more problems, not less, with the National Football League this next September. I think that the Players Association and the ties to the NFL and Roger Goodell being a spineless wimp, I think we're going to be seeing more of the NFL despicables kneeling, sitting, and protesting our flag and our national anthem. Now, I can honestly say this. During the season this year of the NFL on television, I watched a grand total of 3 games from start to finish. 3 games. That is, according to anybody that knows me, absolutely unbelievable. I am and always have been a strong National Football League fan. Of course, being raised not that far from Lambeau Field and the Green Bay Packers. But right now, I don't care about the NFL. I certainly don't care about the Players Association. And I certainly am looking forward to next September with fervent interest that if they show more of this stupidity and lack of respect for our country and our flag, the TV will not go on at all. I think by doing this and not having a commissioner with a backbone, that they are sounding their own death knell for the future. And quite frankly, I hope it's true. I will stick to college sports and not turn on one single game. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I am not about to pay homage and watch with any kind of fandom to players that absolutely do not have respect for our military, our police, and our country. And I urge you to do the same. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, me and you have a little in common there, and that goes right along with this question. It's a question to you. How do you think, with the way things are going right now, how do you think the old Vince would have reacted on all this?
Oh, let me share that with. I'm glad you asked that, caller. I really hold you in high esteem for saying that. If we could have a reincarnation of the coaching staffs of Vince Lombardi, George Halas, and many other, Tom Landry, and many others of the past, I will guarantee you these frizzy-haired, absolutely overpaid, underworked athletes would be standing at the sideline with their hands over their heart. I would never want to go against the likes of Vince Lombardi or George Halas.
Oh, Vince and George Halas and all them guys, they would go ahead and just... the first player that would do that and sit, take a knee like that, they'd be on waivers the next day.
Boy, you have hit the ball right.
I mean, them guys didn't pull no punches.
That's right. That's right. You know, it's interesting to hear you say that because a lot of the NFL players that are interviewed, they always make excuses for either the past or the present. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We've had him on our program before, and I'm going to write it down right now, and I'm going to get a hold of Jerry Kramer. You know who Jerry Kramer was. Just absolutely one of the...
I grew up in the 60s.
All right. He was one of the greatest guards that ever played in the NFL. He and Fuzzy Thurston were known as the 1-2 punch for the Green Bay offensive line. I've had Jerry on my program before. I'm going to try to get him again. He's now residing most of his time down in Arizona, but I'm going to try to catch him and get him on the air, and we'll ask him about that, okay?
Oh, that would be awesome to hear him talk, because I heard him interviewed earlier this year on the University of Idaho game. They interviewed him a little bit because they kind of go through and talk to some of the alumni who have gone on to something great and what have you. And they just happened that day I listened. He was talking to Jerry Kramer, and the man is so interesting to listen to.
Well, there were so many greats of that era that were absolutely great Americans. Bart Starr. I mean, we're talking Paul Hornung, and we're talking Bob Skoronski, and Fuzzy Thurston, and Max McGee, and none of those guys, I will absolutely stand up to this, none of them in that era would have ever thought of doing anything as low-classed as what the athletes are doing today.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny on that note when you talk about it, like with Paul Hornung. I know there was a time or two he absolutely loved to get under Vince Lombardi's hair. Like one time when, something about, I'll make this real quick. He was out at a partying like usual, like the Packers did, went out after curfew. And Vince asked Paul Hornung one time in the office, brought him into his office and said to him, "Hey, what are you? Are you a player, football player, or are you a playboy?" And Paul Hornung, being like he is, he said, "I'm a player, or playboy." And Vince says, "Get the heck out of my office."
Yeah, there were a lot of stories about Max McGee and others that were the party time boys. And Max McGee, very famously, the night before the first Super Bowl, broke curfew and stayed out all night partying in L.A. and didn't think that because he was at that time a reserve that he was going to go into the Super Bowl game, and he ended up being the player of the game.
Yeah, I remember that. He really played a good game that time.
Yes, he did. Hey, he caught the first Super Bowl touchdown. There you go. Hey, sir, I got to run. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. You have a great day.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Oh, I tell you what, I was born and raised back there. And some of the stories about some of the Packer players and Vince Lombardi, I met Vince Lombardi, and I'm not ashamed to say this or at all embarrassed, and I'm not dropping names. I met him in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. And my dad and myself and my uncle, and I absolutely was amazed as to he was very friendly, very sociable, very graceful. We talked about maybe at the most 5 minutes. He was busy. He was going back into his office to take care of some things. But I can honestly say I met one of the greatest coaches of all time, Vince Lombardi. But the stories are history. You wouldn't play for Vince Lombardi with your rules. You'd play under his rules. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. See, the problem is today, everybody wants to play by their own set of rules and standards. That doesn't work. If you're an employer, the employees play by your rules. They don't go out and set everything according to what they want. And right now, in professional football and in basketball, too many people are going by their own little highway. Right now, I want to talk to you about a spring tire sale. At your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And you talk about great tires, they've got them. The TerraMax HT for your pickups and SUVs, all-season traction, affordable pricing. And the Backcountry all-terrain. And then for the cars, the Ultra Z900. They're all on sale for the big spring tire sale. And don't forget the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, and the best of professional brake service. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yep, the best. Your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I got 1 minute. Go ahead, please.
You got it. I watched one game last year, and that was the Super Bowl. I watched a total of 5 minutes, probably, of all the other games.
Uh-huh.
I got my fix on Saturdays and Friday night.
Yep.
Watching collegiate football.
Yep.
And if they're going to sit down again this year, I won't even turn on the Super Bowl.
Here's what I'm going to do, and we have to wait till next September to do it. We have to kind of visualize what's happening with the NFL and if they're going to have these pampered prima donnas take a knee or sit down. And then I'm going to ask all my listeners, you included right at the top of the list, to sign a petition and let the NFL know how we're condemning and damning their stupid, frivolous, anti-American attitudes.
Exactly. If they've got problems, they say it's for the underprivileged people, let them put their pocketbooks where their mouth is and go out and do something about it.
Amen. Amen. I got to run to the news, my friend, which is an oxymoron because it'll be a slow trot.
God bless. Everybody, let's do what we can for our senior centers.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to take a little break for the news. I'll be back in about 7 minutes. Chamber report. Cassia Regional Hospital and some of their great people that are serving you. Rita Ramsey, all of this and more. Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. Okay, good morning on a Thursday, March 8th. Wow, how time flies. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, and they right now are having a huge spring tire sale. Stop in and see them today. Also, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I want to say a big thank you for the support over the many, many years from Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, serving you and your family. When there's the passing of a loved one, and believe me, you just don't know what to do, you don't know what needs to be done in such a short time frame, they are there to serve you and help you. Always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please write the number down and remember Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. We are going to the phone line right now, and a lady over there that's going to give us all the information at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, what's going on, what's cooking for the future. Hello, Shaylee, how are you?
Good, Seb, how are you?
Oh, I'm peachy. What's cooking in your office?
So today we have the Chamber Luncheon, and it's going to be out at Redox Chemicals up in their conference room upstairs, which should be kind of fun. We'll have guest speaker Darren Moon and a Cassia County board member to come speak about the school district. Another thing that's going on is we are now accepting vendors for the Idaho Living Expo, which used to be called the Women's Expo, but we're actually doing it more towards outdoor living this year for Idaho, so that should be fun. If you're interested in that, just contact Jackie at the Chamber. Another thing that we have going on Saturday night out at Maury's is a fundraiser and dinner auction for the Burley Bobcat Wrestlers. Doors open at 5:30. If you're interested in tickets, you can call Tyrell Harris, who is the wrestling coach. His number is 908 1598, or you can contact Burley High School and they can give you more information on that. Another thing that we have going on that's really fun in the community is Wednesday the 14th, Stouts will have their Drive Green event. Lunch is provided, all sorts of fun giveaways. They always have so many fun things going on down there. And they're actually going to do a drawing and a giveaway for a 2025R tractor.
Woo.
So if you're interested in that, come on down to Stouts Equipment on Wednesday the 14th.
Well, I'll tell you what, that sounds like a ripping good time and a lot of activities. I want to go back a little bit, and I'm going to put you on the spot. And I want you to explain, oh boy, I can see the old eyes flashing, and you're going, oh no! but I want you to explain a little bit about the Idaho Living Expo. Give us kind of a breakdown of what it is, what it's going to try to portend to the public, and where is it going to be?
Okay, so this year we're actually moving the venue, and it's going to be held at Nature's Nursery and Market, which is 120 East on Highway 81 across from the Burley Golf Course. That's that new cute little greenhouse over there. We're going to have tents set up, so just like vendor spots, and there are different size booths available to purchase depending on what you're selling or if you're doing any sorts of demos. We also this year will have an actual stage in the middle of the event that will have live demos going on every 30 minutes. For example, Stouts Equipment, they have purchased a couple of those time slots, and they will be doing some Traeger grill demonstrations. And this year we just kind of wanted to gear it more towards, instead of just women, we wanted to gear it more towards everybody that lives in Idaho. And the theme is Idaho Living and kind of what it means to you. So it should be a really fun event with all sorts of different vendors and outdoor gear to buy and all sorts of fun stuff to see.
Well, it sounds to me, and again, I don't mean to ask some rather naive questions, but it sounds to me like if you're going to have something like this, an Idaho Living Expo, I mean, everything from, and correct me if I'm wrong, from gardening to backpacking. I mean, the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Yep, we're going to have gardening to backpacking to we will even have a couple fashion shows that have 30-minute time slots for the little cute boutiques and stuff in this area that sell clothing. So it's kind of everything. It should, like I said, you can bring your whole family and there will be something for everyone.
Well, now, basically, what about the booths? I mean, it sounds to me, if this is really marketed well, and I'm sure you will, holy moly, you could be filled up in a hurry because there's a whole bunch of people that have businesses that relate to Idaho Living.
Yeah, so we actually started taking reservations last Friday, and it is first come, first serve, and we have already sold a lot of the booths. So if anyone's listening and they're interested, contact the Chamber as soon as possible. Like I mentioned earlier, there are 3 different booth sizes depending on what your company sells or what you're looking to get out there.
And when is it going to be again, and where?
It's May 5th, and it's going to be at Nature's Nursery and Market, and that's 120 East Highway 81 in Burley, across from the Burley Golf Course, and it's going to be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and the food and the parking lot will also be filled with a bunch of food trucks. So there will be all sorts of food and demos and so much fun. Just bring your whole family. You know, it does sound like quite a fun day, and look out. You might have a whole bunch more than what you anticipate. I'm hoping so.
Okay, what else is going on at the Chamber? You've got the floor, my dear.
That's about it for events. We have a ribbon cutting coming up. Four Seasons is actually getting a new location on Overland Avenue. It's 3012 Overland Avenue. That one won't be until April 7th. They want to do hot dogs and chips and kind of be outside, and so they're just waiting for the weather to kind of stay good.
Okay. Have you done quite a few ribbon cutting ceremonies?
We have done quite a few since I've been on board.
Okay. Have you ever had those big scissors just absolutely not do the job?
I have never seen that myself. They are pretty intense. I'm pretty sure they could cut anything.
But do you have a backup plan, like a good sturdy jackknife ready in case they don't cut the ribbon?
Yeah, I do. I actually, carry it in my back pocket.
Okay. Shaylee, what about all the people that would like to become members or the services that are offered over there, etc.? Tell us quickly about that.
If you'd like to become a member or you have any questions for us, our website is under construction. It should be done within the next month to month and a half. So you can visit that in a little while, and that is www.minicasuchamber.com. Or you can call myself at the office. It's 208-679-4793, and I can give you all the ins and outs of membership. We do have a tiered membership structure, so you can kind of pick on, depending how large your business is and how many employees you have, where you fall and what will work best to help you grow your business.
Holy moly, Shaylee over at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Good job this morning. I really appreciate your effort.
Thanks, Zeb. Thanks for having us on.
All right, you take care and have a wonderful week.
You too, Zeb. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you. Nice lady over there at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and I really appreciate having them on the air. By the way, I want to say a big thank you, and I mean this, to Clay Handy and Handy Truck Lines at 400 West, 100 South of Paul. You know, we came up with the Idaho Legislative Update. We've had them on the air for the last 4 or 5 years at the legislative session. And this year we talked to Clay Handy about sponsoring our Idaho Legislative Update on Tuesdays at 9:30 for as long as they're in session. And he jumped right in. There was no hesitation, and I really want to give him tribute. Handy Truck Lines established back in 1928, and they are still serving all the Intermountain area. 90 years of service to you. And, of course, they've got terminals in Pocatello, Meridian, and Salt Lake City, Utah. And they're very, very proud of the good men and women from this area that represent our legislative session. Thank you, Clay Handy and Handy Truck Lines. God bless you for being our sponsor of the Idaho Legislative Update. Want to also say a big thank you to the folks over at Let's Ride. Ho, 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 I'm telling you, Nick and the crew, if you don't have a four-wheeler, just get over there and walk in the showroom floor. Stop right there. Turn your head to the left, turn your head to the right. Holy moly, you're going to be impressed like I am every time I go over there. How did they get all that stuff in there? I mean, all the four-wheelers, all the side-by-sides, all the accessories, anything you're looking for. And they have got a great service department. Tyson and the rest of the crew out there. I want to remind you that if you do have four-wheelers, you better get them serviced now and ready for spring. All you got to do is just get a hold of them. Tell them you're coming over at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and this is definitely where the fun is sold. Right now, I'm very honored every week to have some great professional people on the air from the Cassia Regional Hospital. Let's listen to that segment for today.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. Visiting again with a lovely lady from Cassia Regional Hospital, Anita Solis, and she is the orthopedic clinic manager at Cassia Regional Hospital. Orthopedics, as you can see with my crutches standing in the background, I'm well aware of what that is and what it does, but now you've got something special you want to share with us this morning.
Yes, I'm excited to share with you in the community that at Cassia Regional Hospital we do offer a patient educational class, which is the total joint replacement class. It just is offered, of course, it's offered to educate our community. You don't have to be a patient of ours or the hospital. We'd just like to educate the community on joint pain, and the focus is shoulders, hips, and knees, whether you have the arthritis or the joint pain, or you may be thinking about it, or it's something that you've been living with. We just want to let the community know that we do offer a course. It's free of charge. You can just call and we'll let you know when those courses are, and we'd be happy to have you. And also we encourage family members or any caregivers to just come and learn.
Okay, now, when you say come and learn, let's explore that a little bit. Let's say that somebody's going in for a hip surgery, and they have never been to a doctor or a surgeon in their life, and boy, they've got a lot of worries and fears, and they don't know what they can and can't do after the surgery. Take us from that point.
That is a very common scenario. People just don't know, and that is actually the goal of the course. So what we would do is the course is offered every other Thursday, and the leader in the course is our PA, Devin Tracy, and he's physician's assistant certified, specializing in orthopedics. And so the course just covers, like you said, from the very first, from the pain all the way through the surgery procedure. We just teach you what to expect, the treatment options. Involved in the course are all the specialties that are actually involved in your care during the procedure. So in the course, the physical therapy department, surgical services, the med surgical floor, the pharmacy, they all participate and teach the course as well. So patients get to meet who's going to be taking care of them even before.
So basically, like we were talking earlier on previous programs, it's kind of a step-by-step basis to make sure that the patient understands from the minute they roll into Cassia Regional what's going to happen, and when they leave the hospital, what's expected to happen.
Correct. And also they get the opportunity to meet the people that are going to be providing that care.
I see. So now, there's a lot to orthopedic, being an orthopedic clinic manager, because when they have these surgeries, whether it's a knee replacement or a hip replacement, there's a lot of do's and don'ts that the patient had better be aware of, or it's going to be all for vain.
Yes, that is correct. So in this course, we do offer a booklet for reference that you get to take. We encourage you to bring the family members or caregivers that are going to be involved in your care, because they are the ones that are going to help you with the do's or don'ts.
Really, and you mentioned physical therapy, and I think, and I've noticed this over the many, many years, I'm an old man, that physical therapy after the initial surgery, people scoff at it, they don't want to do it, they don't want to take the time, and they say, oh, it hurts, but you know, it's the most beneficial thing in the whole procedure.
It is key, and I think that's another benefit of the class, that it helps them understand the need and the importance, and, you know, we relay that information of the success and outcomes.
What about physical therapy? It's really changed over the years, hasn't it, as far as knowledge is concerned?
Correct.
You want to talk about that for a second?
Sure. Physical therapy, it used to be, back in the day, we had what was called CPM machines, where we'd strap you into a machine and kind of let it do the work, and we've really graduated away from that. In medicine as a whole, it used to be you couldn't get up, you couldn't move. After you undergo a joint replacement, whether it be hip or knee, you will be up and walking that easy. Yes, you will be up and walking, and truly the more physical therapy that's completed and done, the more success you'll have.
And, you know, really, what do you tell people, whether they're in their teens or whether they're middle-aged or whether they're aged, and they say, oh, I don't want it, it's going to hurt. What do you tell them?
You know, we just show them the success and the outcome. We have them meet with the therapist, tour the department, and make that connection. Most of all, it's just making the connection with our patients and understanding, for them to understand the process and the benefits and the outcomes. Sometimes it takes a little push, but we're able to get them to understand the importance with the communication and just showing them. And really, it's about having the patient trust you. Once you create that trust, they're able to engage.
orthopedics in its nature and name has really advanced over the years, hasn't it? You want to talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the things is that we really, at Intermountain, at the orthopedic clinic here, is that we definitely define and drive best practices, which means the latest technology, invasive procedures. We have the robots is, the common how people, we have the computerized surgery, the technology, and the equipment here at Cassia Regional.
Wow, so it sounds like you've got the latest in technology, the latest in knowledge, all right there at Cassia Regional Hospital.
Correct.
You are an outstanding lady, and we're going to have you back in the future. Anita Solis, the orthopedic clinic manager at Cassia Regional Hospital, thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
I have met so many nice people at Cassia Regional. This is kind of a little personal side note. And we just finished a series of, meetings and happenings as to what's going on with dietary concerns. And Mr. Robert Welker is going to be on the program next week, and for a couple of weeks talking about diabetes and obesity. And I think you're really going to find it interesting, so be sure and not miss next Thursday right here on Zeb at the Ranch for your Cassia Regional Hospital. Excellent people. By the way, tomorrow night is a big doings at the Raft River Rodeo Club. That's right. They're going to have a great big auction and dinner at the high school gym. Now, boy, I understand they've got a ton of great auction items, log furniture, and all kinds of goodies. And the dinner's going to be pulled pork with salad and rolls. Oh, I mean, get your eating clothes on. And it's going to be a lot of fun. All the funds are going to go towards helping the entry fees for the kids in high school rodeo, and also sending the top cowboys and cowgirls to the state and hopefully the national finals. So that's tomorrow night up in Raft River. Do not miss it at 6:30 starting time. Also, our thanks, our thanks go out to Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Hello, Todd and the crew over there at Cameron and Siemens. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, and they are so dedicated and responsive to your needs. They really want to help you, your family, and your business. So please, I urge you to give them a call at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really good folks. In just a few minutes, we're going to have our interview with a lovely lady that I always look forward to having on the air, and that's, of course, going to be Rita Ramsey, so stand by for that. I want to also get this in here real quick, and it is a concert commemorating the retirement of Stan Bruns from the position of Director of Music at the Rupert United Methodist Church at 605 H Street will be presented Sunday, March 18th. That's just around the corner at 7 p.m. And the concert will be a presentation of the choral work, The 7 Last Words of Christ on the Cross. Absolutely going to be great. The public invited to this free concert, and we urge you to be there. For more information, call 436-3354, and that's coming up on the 18th, so don't miss that. And one other note, I guess that's all. That's all the public service announcements I had for this morning. But if you do have any public service announcements, I urge you to send them to me, zebattheranch@hotmail.com. A lot of people get a little confused about the Zeb at the Ranch. No, it's 4 words. Zeb, A-T, not the @ sign, A-T, Zeb at the Ranch, and then the @ sign, hotmail.com. So send those to me, and love to hear from you. As I mentioned earlier this morning, we are going to be celebrating on the 22nd, a couple of days late, St. Patrick's Day, at our monthly Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant. And I urge you to wear green, because everybody that wears green is going to get a free Blarney Stone. So don't forget that, coming up on March 22nd. And then also earlier this morning, I'm kind of picking up some of the odds and ends I mentioned earlier. I want to mention again. A very sweet lady that is one of our lunch bunchers, Mary Johnson. It was brought to our attention yesterday on a phone call that she is having surgery this morning for open heart surgery, and we want to give her the best of our prayers and thoughts and the best of God's blessings for complete recovery. Mary Johnson. Mary's a really nice lady and has been one of our lunch bunchers for a long time. Let's see, we're about 30 seconds early, but let's see if she's there. Rita Ramsey, how are you this morning?
She hasn't called in.
Oh, yes, she has. There she is. I'll tell you what. I'll say it again, and I'll bet you by that time Wheels has got all the buttons pushed and the dials turned. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good, thank you.
I heard that phone ringing, and I knew it was you. Oh, my goodness, Rita. There is a never-ending basket full of different items to pick and choose every week you're on the air. But I want to start with this mess, this absolute filthy mess with Governor Jerry Brown and the Oakland mayor and the sanctuary cities and the sanctuary state and California versus literally the rest of us. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think California is way out of line, and I think these people need to be taken to task, and if it involves law and being locked up or, served papers and charged with something, they need to be. They're not going by the Constitution in their state. They're not going by the Constitution of our country. It's really sad when you have people that are doing this type of a thing. I can understand if there was some kind of a isolated incident that a mayor had to kind of go out on a limb and say, hey, we've got to do this, and if that was the case, they would be rational enough to get a hold of the Department of Justice and say, hey, can we make some changes? But they're doing everything that they can, and it all stems back to a couple of things. The first thing is that they don't like the Trump administration. The second thing is they want a base that they can get illegals to vote and be in their corner. I do not understand how people cannot be smart enough to see the damage that's happening because of these just floods of illegals that are coming in and causing havoc, in whether it's in the justice system or our economic system or what. They need to come legally if they're going to come, and we need to know who they are and that they're not just sucking us dry.
Let's break this down a little bit this morning in the discussion. Number one, I want to talk about the actual laws that are being broken by Brown, the governor of California, and I use that term loosely, and the Oakland mayor that basically shielded illegal aliens over and above honest, God-fearing citizens of this United States. Now, I listened to Tom Homan this morning, the lead man for ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement. And in the last raid, because of the Oakland mayor shielding with a protection announcement the illegal aliens, they only picked up about 100 or so of the illegals that they were after. But in that little mess of 100, I want to mention this. They caught sexual child predators. They found abusers and assault people that had been arrested on assault. They found other sex offenders. They found killers and murderers. And I'm sitting there going, and this mayor shielded and protected the rest of those possible arrests? What in the dickens is going on with people creating anarchy in our country?
Well, that's the bad part is that all of those that they actually were going in there after were really, really bad people. They were not the Jose and Maria who were raising their little kids and working and doing good in the community. These were people who have offended made fences in lots and lots of directions, and they are really, really bad people. It wasn't that, oh, yeah, he kind of got stopped for running a stop sign, and so we're going to take him in, or anything like that. These are repeat offenders. They are dangerous people, and she was shielding all of them, which means she was putting her own citizens at risk by not letting the law deal with them. And she was letting them just have the notion that, hey, you can do whatever you want, and we'll protect you.
Let me ask you this question, Rita, and I do value your opinion because you know and understand what's going on in the world of politics and in the news. That's why I have you on this program. But I'm going to ask you this question. Is, in your opinion, our current Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, tough enough to get the job done?
Actually, I think he does, and I think he is tough. I think he'll do what needs to be done. I think he's doing a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't think he's a grandstander like Eric Holder was, and going to be out there saying, yeah. And I know it got off to a rough start when he said, okay, I'll recuse myself from this particular investigation because of a thing that I could be involved. What's it called? A conflict of interest. I'll remove myself. Trump was really upset about that, and so were a lot of other people. But if you look at it, that's really the only thing that he could have done. If he hadn't have done that, he would have had the Democrats just all up in arms, and they would have really attacked, and it would have been twice as bad as it's been. And just showing the work that he's doing and how he's going after some of these people and enforcing the laws. When he gets up and makes a statement, he says, we are in the process of taking care of things that need to be taken care of. I'll execute my office as the Attorney General. I'll enforce the law, and that's what we're doing. And I don't see anything wrong with that, but there's a lot of people who thinks he needs to be up doing all kinds of grandstanding, and I think he's doing stuff very, very low-key and just doing what needs to be done.
I will say this, and I don't know your feeling on the remainder of this story, but once he starts in California, he'd better not close the cover on the book, because then he's got to look at Rahm Emanuel in Chicago. He's got to look at Bill de Blasio in New York City. He's got to go after each and every one of these anarchists that are absolutely spitting in the eye of federal laws that you and I and all Americans have to adhere to, and these mayors are just basically saying, no, we're going to do it our way, the heck with the federal government.
Well, I think that he will, and the reason that I think that he will is this one in California isn't where he really started. Maybe several weeks back, they had that ICE raid with the 7-Elevens and went in and did all of that kind of stuff. Those weren't the first things that they had done. They've been doing a lot of other small things, and they haven't really gained a lot of media attention, as you will, but this deal at Oakland, because of what happened with the ICE people last week, I guess it was last week, they've kind of just said, well, okay, this is a good place for us to go, and it made big deal because she was, trying to avoid letting the law do its thing. I read an article today that the DOJ has agreed to hand over the Fast and Furious documents that Eric Holder would not do. And Sessions said in his statement, the Department of Justice is under my watch, is committed to transparency and the rule of law. This settlement agreement is an important step to make sure that public finally receives all the facts related to Fast and Furious.
Right.
So there's that's going on. He is nailing sanctuary cities, and they're going to be going after him. So for them to not go after some of these places would really surprise me. So I think it's just the first one in a big group of them. There was an article in today, actually it was last night, that the Denver authorities won't allow deportation of an illegal immigrant who was arrested for vehicular homicide, and so they're, that governor is, mayor is snubbing his nose with the Department of Justice, not letting him do what needs to be done. And,
right.
And they posted bail for that guy, or they told him he had to put up $25,000. That's not very much for a guy who has a record like he has.
Absolutely.
And if they let him go,
yep,
he's gone.
Absolutely. Adios, amigo. Not going to see him again. You know, and I'm going to be very blunt on this issue. I said it first hour. I hope you were listening. That I think all this is, I don't think, I know that all this is, with the harboring of illegals and the basically creating a shadow for them to cringe in so that ICE can't do their job. All of this is part of the Democratic Party's mantra to make sure that they get the votes, illegal votes, in the elections that are coming up. I don't care what it's going to be called. It's cheating. Cheating by the Democrats to just make a bigger, larger conglomerate to put their people in office. Do you disagree?
No, I don't. I actually think that that's exactly the end result that they're looking for. But in between that, I just don't understand how people aren't smart enough to see, regular people, citizens who are hardworking Americans out there supporting all of this stuff through their pocketbook. I mean, they have no choice, but they're supporting all that through their pocketbook. Seeing that their leaders are doing this kind of thing and saying, hey, we need to get them out. We can't continue with this. Look what's going on. Look how our state has been turned into a third world country. Do you not think that California hasn't just been headed towards being a third world country in its own?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing that I'm so upset about is that we're seeing a destruction of the entire value system in our country. And those people on the left, the Democrats, saying, well, nobody can go get all their IDs, and it's such a short period of time, and it's such an effort for the elderly. I'm going to call bogus bunch of baloney, because that's not true, and you know it. Those that want to prove who they are should go to the polls and vote. Those that can't should stay home.
Well, that's absolutely right. And if it's such a big deal for the elderly, how do they get their Medicare and prove
Absolutely.
who they are to have treatments at hospitals and use their Medicare benefits, and how do they get Social Security benefits if they don't have any kind of way to prove who they are? They have it. They know they have it, and there's many organizations who have made it very, very clear that if they don't have ID, that they will help them get it. And this is for people who are actually Americans and have the right to vote. So that's just bogus. There's not people out there that don't have a way to get ID and prove who they are.
And the other thing is about what Rahm Emanuel did in Chicago. I mean, with that Chicago key card and ID card, you know as well as I do, Rita, that was nothing more than a bogus scam to, again, open the door for illegals to have some semblance of an ID to go to the polls and vote Democratic.
Oh, absolutely. And the part that's sad is with that, the ID and everything else that comes along with it, comes the freebies.
Yep.
And that's what everybody should be really, really mad about, is that their money is being used to let this destruction come to their very communities.
I want to talk to you a little bit about a man that I talked about first hour, Louis Farrakhan, and I really have to watch and curb some of my verbiage about him. I find him to be the pond scum that is allowed to spew hate, death, and destruction, and nobody hauls him into court or takes him to task. And now it's coming out that more and more of the so-called notable Democrats have been shining up to Louis Farrakhan with the Nation of Islam. Oh, and pictures are coming out with Barack Obama standing there with his big toothy grin, and Maxine Waters, and of course from Minnesota, Muslim Keith Ellison. Gee whiz, that party sure seems to tie themselves into evil and hate with Louis Farrakhan.
He is the biggest stirrer of the pot, and I don't understand why nobody will take him to task for his, and I say this tongue-in-cheek really, racist. He is racist, and he says that, and nobody ever says anything. And yet when they can talk about Jeff Sessions going to Oakland, they can just say, well, these are just racist ideas you have because you're just holding race against all of these people who aren't here legally. And so that's what they do is they say racist, and people kind of tone it down because it's like, oh, we don't want to, get into that again. Well, he's the one who should be called racist over the things that he's said. And if nothing else, somebody ought to just put together a montage of all of his statements about Jews and white people and some of these others that he has just been horrible about. And the media doesn't hold him to task. The main people, it's just kind of like, oh, well, he didn't say that. And they just kind of mumble and jumble and don't do anything. But, boy, you get somebody who says the slightest little thing, just like remember the guy who said something about, boy, they've got a chink in their armor. And
yes.
He's not even an announcer anymore.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, and I just saw a montage of the various absolutely stupid and racist remarks that Farrakhan had said. It was on early this morning at about 4:35, and they explicitly showed him denouncing and talking about the killing of white people and the killing and extermination of Jewish people. If a white Caucasian and a member of the GOP would ever stand up and say something like that in reverse, whoa, baby, get the ticket because he's taking the last boat out tonight at 5 o'clock.
Boy, that is the absolute truth, and that just shows you that there's a big double standard, and they'll put out there what they want, and they'll amplify it, see if they can make some news out of it, and if they don't want it to be heard, they just kind of start focusing on something else instead of what the news really is.
I got to do a weather forecast, and then when I come back, I want to ask you about the lowest ever ratings for the Oscars on TV. We want to talk about that in just a minute. Stand by, but we've got a weather forecast, and it's brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane & Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. It is, and I hate to say it, but it's tax time. You got to get everything all figured up. Yes, you do. They are the best at tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, retirement planning, and I urge you to get a hold of them today. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane & Company. Offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's the weather.
Enjoy this day while we have it, because tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Partly sunny skies for today. A slight breeze out of the east, right around 5 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 48. Tonight, more clouds are going to roll into the valley, looking at a 10% chance of snow showers, especially up in the higher elevations. Mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 35. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the morning, switching to rain by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 47. And then for tomorrow night, 20% chance of rain showers in the evening. Mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 29 as we head on into the weekend. Mostly sunny skies, high of 44. For Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 24. Then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Yeah, and thank you very much. Appreciate it. Brought to you by the best, and I mean that. We go there, you should too. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane & Company. As I said, great professional accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area. Get a hold of them today. Offices in Burley and Rupert. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane & Company. I want to ask you this, Rita. I did not watch it in its entirety because I absolutely can't stand their filth and their plastic attitudes and personalities. But the Oscars were on TV recently, and it was a 4-hour marathon of stupidity. And all it was bashing conservatives, bashing this administration, and just absolutely everything that I've been born and raised into with any ethics whatsoever. They just destroyed that. And the people that were part of that ceremony through the evening, I tuned in on occasion just to see it and write notes about it. I have never seen or heard men that were as big a wussies as they were, and I've never never heard a consistent attack for 4 hours against moral values and social values in this country. What were your thoughts about it?
Well, from what I understand, that is true. I did not see it. I decided, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm tired of their crap. The thing that's bad about it is they forget why they're in the business they're in and who pays their way. And one of these days, it's going to come as a reality check. Hello, maybe we lost our viewership. There used to be 3 networks, and you could kind of go through them and divide up and everything. Now there's so many different networks and alternatives, and people can stream. They don't even have to watch TV and that type of thing. There's so many choices that it's already whittled the pie pieces down into such teeny little pieces that people are just going, hey, I don't need to do that. And that's just like with the NFL, and you mentioned this earlier in the program, in the different hour, is about all of the people who aren't watching the NFL and that. And I mentioned, my dad and my husband, absolutely not. They wouldn't watch it. I think Glenn was just really, really bummed that he couldn't watch the Super Bowl, but he said, I'm just not going to do it. And I think that one of these days they'll be awakened and go, oh, man, we're going to have to do something, see if we can get our viewership back up, because our advertisers aren't going to want to aren't spending money to help bring us this stuff, and so we don't have the money that we need. And I think it'll have to be the owners will start saying, hey, we're losing big time money. We got to come up with a new policy, and we're going to be in charge here to get back to the into the black.
Well, look what the NFL did. I'm going to paraphrase and not go with the whole story because it takes too much explanation. But look at what the NFL did when Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, came out and was absolutely straightforward and honest about not wanting to sign a ridiculous contract to retain Roger Goodell as commissioner, and also was in condemnation of what these athletes were doing to hurt the sport and hurt the image of the NFL. The NFL turns around and wants to fine him over $650 million? It's ridiculous. They're going after the people that are actually trying to do right, and they're letting these overpaid, underworked prima donnas run the asylum.
Well, and that's why they need to get rid of Goodell. He is nothing but a wuss, and he is the one who is causing all of this, because it would have taken one statement from him, and all you'd have to done is say, hey, you know what? We're not asking you to do anything special. Just stand there and be respectful. That's all you have to do. You can do your protests and everything else when you're out on your own. Just stand during the national anthem, be respectful, the end.
Yep.
That's what you have to do.
Amen.
And they wouldn't be in this big problem, but he didn't even have the testicular fortitude to do that.
Absolutely. One last thought. I've got about 2 minutes left here. I wanted to get into, I don't like her. I'm prejudiced. I'm going to say this up front. I've said it many times. I cannot stand this woman. Rosie O'Donnell is standing up and speaking for all the subjects that I disdain. I absolutely have no use for. And when she called this last week, NRA members, of which I am, and the NRA and gun owners terrorists, I was deeply offended and will do anything I can to besmirch Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, I don't know why anybody's giving her any kind of a voice. She has been absolutely abhorrent for the number of years. And it's they get on these soapboxes. Why don't they, if she's a comedian, let her be a comedian. If she's a movie star, let her be a movie star. They're not experts in their field. They shouldn't be making stands. I can't even remember who it was the other day. I read a thing, and he said, you know what? I'm an athlete. I just want to be an athlete.
Yes.
I'm not going to be making political statements and everything else. And so it's kind of like, some of them really get it, but the others who will get out on a soapbox, the media is going, oh, man, they're against Trump. They're against the American people that are these people who are moral and good people, and we don't like those kind of people because they don't like us doing the bad stuff we love to do.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you somebody else that really spoke up this last week. It was in the news, and I had it on my program on Monday. Dolly Parton, she was really being harassed by a ABC interviewer about her stance on politics, and she put her hands down, and she looked at the interview, and she said, listen, I told you once I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm an entertainer, not a politician. I've got a lot of respect for Dolly Parton.
I do too. I read that article that she was in. They were kind of giving her a bad time because they said, "Well, isn't Donald Trump just like Dabney Coleman was in 9 to 5, and trying to equate him to the the boss that really goes out on a limb and is oppressive and everything." And I thought that it was really good because she said, "You know what? If you want to ask me something serious, ask me, but I'm not going to answer that kind of stuff. That's not what I do."
Absolutely. Rita, I can't believe that we're out of time. Absolutely excellent interview this morning. Thank you so much for all of your candid remarks, and we'll look forward to next Thursday.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Take care. Rita Ramsey, love that lady. She's always here with us at 9:30 on Thursdays. Deanne keeps walking back and forth. She's working hard, getting everything laid out for the company, and I just want to say at this time of the day, and she agrees with me, we get a little bit hungry and are starving to death after we get up at 4 in the morning with a bowl of cereal. Well, I know some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death, like the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Woo! Shrimp and small fry, just $7. And, of course, the famous Farmer Brown burgers and fish burgers. They've got it all with all the shakes and the fries and the special sauce. It's delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh, what a great place to gather with your friends. In the morning, they get a lot of people going in there and enjoying coffee and those delicious breakfast burritos with bacon and jalapenos. Oh, my goodness, it's delicious. All the food on the menu, absolutely knock your socks off great at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, how about let's go over to Burgers Etc., 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. They've got a mushroom burger combo, only $5.99 after 3 p.m. Ooh, that is good. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99. Great people, wonderful food at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Last but not least, I'm drooling. I'm hungry. Steve-O's Food, made the way you love it, at 290 South 600 West Hayburn. And, oh my goodness, they've got cupcakes, new cupcakes, delicious, different flavors every week. And they've got buffalo burgers, and they got different soups every day. Oh, man. And the salads are fantastic. All the food is great. Nice people at Steve-O's, 290 South 600 West of Hayburn. And those are just a few places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. And I am. Let's see what else have we got cooking. Next hour, we're going to be talking to, I think, Vice Principal Andrew Ray at the Cassia County Schools, and we're going to have him on the air. At 10:23, we've got a business salute with our good friend, and that's Jeff Bronson over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And then at 10:30, we've got a guy coming on the program I'm really excited to hear about. He's going to be talking about getting it together. Our younger generation needs to stop, smell the coffee, and get it all together. Scott Paley's going to be on the program with his new book, so we're going to have that coming up. Right now, we're going to send it over to the news from CBS and be back in 7. Here we go into hour number 3 for this Thursday, March 8th, and good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. Work at it. Make it a great day, okay? Smile. Hey, Zev at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Great big spring tire sale going on right now at all 7 locations. And some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I wanted to hit this one more time this morning while I got a minute or two, and because it's going to be tomorrow night. I promised the group up there that I'd mention this as many times as possible. I have during the past week, and that's the Raft River Rodeo Club having their annual dinner and auction tomorrow night, Friday, March 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Raft River High School gym, and they are going to have, like they said, a ton of great auction items, including log furniture and all kinds of other goodies. So don't forget that. The dinner's going to be a pulled pork. Oh, that's good. And choices of dessert and everything else. So don't forget that tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. with the net proceeds going to the kids to help pay their rodeo entry fees and also send the top cowboys and cowgirls to the state and national finals. There you go. Up at Raft River tomorrow night at 6:30. We are going to get ready right now with a little acknowledgement of our two sponsors of Cassia County School Days. And I am very, very thankful that we have, first of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. I know we talked to Linda, and she's always telling us about all the clothing and all the spring dresses and all the baby clothing and the baby furniture and the games and the toys and the puzzles. Oh, they've got it all for you right there at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. Our other sponsor is, of course, the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley, and they can really help save you money on your outpatient surgeries with great doctors serving you, whether it's colonoscopies, knee surgeries, tonsillectomies, so much more. All you need to do to find out information is call 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. And that's, of course, our two great sponsors, Child's World, Ambulatory Surgery Center for Cassia County School Days. And speaking of which, we're going to go to the phone line right now, and I believe we have Vice Principal Andrew Ray is going to be talking all about a great big job fair at the Cassia schools. Sir, are you there?
Yep, I'm here, Zeb. Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I thought you were going to call me by another name there for a minute. You started off and then you corrected yourself. Yep, it's old Fat Zeb on this end. Hey, tell us a little bit. You've been on the program before. You know it's relaxed, and we're going to have a little fun here for a few minutes. What's going on with the job fair? I'll let you give a kind of a synopsis of what's going on, and then I'll ask questions.
Absolutely. You've been a big help to us, Zeb, getting the word out on some of these events. Last year, we started our first annual job fair, and we were expecting about 50, maybe 60 job seekers, and we had 250 people show up looking for all sorts of jobs between teaching, custodial, secretarial, maintenance, working in the kitchens, bus driving. I mean, everything. It just blew us away. We ran out of food, we ran out of flyers, we ran out of business cards, and so we're going to do it again this year. It'll be tomorrow night from 5 to 7:30 at Burley High School, and we're hoping to get everybody back again that wants to get into the schools and look at what it would take either to become a teacher or any of the other positions that I described, and we're expecting a big turnout again.
Well, let me ask you this in regards to the event, not only last year but this year. How much more information are you going to provide people, more so than you did last year? I mean, are you going to break it down that they need these qualifications, they need this type of education? Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we noticed last year is we had a lot of people, some stay-at-home moms and other individuals that were already working in one industry, and they wanted more information on how to get certified to teach, how to get into a classroom and be with kids. And so this year we're going to have a lot of people on hand that can answer those questions, walk them through the process. The state has really relaxed some of the regulations and how a teacher or how an individual becomes certified to teach, and so a lot of people didn't realize that if they have a bachelor's degree, it's pretty darn easy to get them headed down that road to get the certification. Several people came and said, well, wait, don't I have to go back to college? And say, absolutely not. We have everything in place here in Cassia County to get you headed down that road. And several people we ended up hiring last year didn't even realize that they could have a job starting in the fall, and they've been teaching for almost a full year. And the ones that we hired at Burley High School are phenomenal. So we're going to have a lot more people on hand to answer many of those questions.
Let me ask you this, Andrew. Would a lot of these jobs and teaching positions, would a lot of people that are interested and thinking, like you mentioned a moment ago, well, I have to make arrangements to either drive to Idaho State or go to CSI or up to Boise State University, whatever, I would assume that a lot today, because of the Internet, they could take a lot of those online classes.
Absolutely. Some of those online universities are getting pretty big, you know. University of Phoenix used to be kind of the big dog, and they still are, but we're seeing a lot more students go through some other organizations, including the University of Idaho has a great teacher prep program, and Western Governors. A lot of our teaching candidates are finding some flexibility, and it's very affordable to go through Western Governors. So we'll have some more information there if people are interested in that avenue as well.
Do you find that, like last year, you said you ran out of business cards and everything else? There was a whole bunch of people there. Are you seeing, perhaps, a change in the work ethic of our population to the point where people are becoming more concerned about utilizing the talents that God gave them?
I am. You know, I think there's been a real push recently to improve the image of school teachers and kind of restore kind of that reputation of respect. And I don't know why that's been lost recently, but we have several people that come in and say, oh, man, I've always wanted to work with kids, or I've always wanted to teach, but for reasons, you know, maybe concern over pay or other reasons, they say, well, I decided to go get a business degree, or I decided to go get an engineering degree, or whatever it might be. And they come back and say, man, I've always wanted to work with kids. I feel like I have a knack for that. And now I'm ready to go. And Zeb, I could tell you stories about some people we've hired at Burley High School that were doing something totally different, and then now have just, over the last 2-3 years, have loved life because they're doing what they're good at, and they're doing what they enjoy doing.
Well, you know why not share one of those stories with us? I mean, if you've got one or two in particular, I'd like to hear some of those success stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I share this one all the time, and he wouldn't mind at all, but we have Jed Thomas, who was our football coach for a few years, but his day job was running the Chadwick restaurant there on Main. And he came to us a couple summers ago and said, hey, I made a mistake. And we thought, uh-oh, what happened? And he said, no, I made a mistake in my career choice. I want to be around kids. I want to be able to be a positive influence for somebody and help them, make some good choices in life. And he said, I've gotten a little bit of that through football, but he's like, I want to do it every day. And so we looked at it. He had his degree. We had an opening at the time, and we hired him as a special education teacher with an emphasis in history. And he'll be completing his second year. And he has completely knocked it out of the park as a teacher. The kids love him. He is a great addition to our staff. He walks around every day with this button, and it changes based on the day, but it says Happy Monday or Happy Tuesday based on the day. And he goes around and he literally high-fives hundreds of kids in the hallways every day, just wishing them a Happy Monday or a Happy Tuesday. Does it to teachers, does it to parents that walk in, complete strangers. And you can tell he is happy to just be doing what he loves doing, and that's working with kids.
Wow. Now, that's the kind of story I want to hear about, and that's the kind of teacher I'd love to have him on my program sometime if you could arrange it.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is he's just a beacon of positivity, and he'd be great for your show.
Let me ask you this question. There may be people out there that are saying, well, gee, I can't commit to really taking my boat out of the water full-time. Are there part-time jobs available?
I actually just got that question yesterday over email from an interested candidate asking, is there any part-time jobs? Could I teach 2 periods in the morning? Could I teach every other day? Because we're on an A-B block schedule is what we call it. And I told the person, absolutely, let's sit down, let's look at it. Let's see what options are available. I know I've gotten a lot of inquiries recently as well from industry people. I've had a realtor contact me. I've had a local banker contact me. And they've asked questions like, hey, could I teach a semester-long financial literacy class? Could I teach a real estate business class? And how awesome would that be to bring these people in and be able to teach maybe one period a day. They get their, feel of being around the kids, but then they get to share their experiences and get kids excited about things. And we've looked into all those, and there are some options available that the state has allowed us to use and do some of those things.
And right there, Andrew, and I'm not trying to jump in the middle of what you're offering or what you're looking for, but I think too many of the jobs, per se, that are out in America today that are being lessened by the numbers. A lot of people are retiring, and there's not new people coming in, and I'll mention like electricians or plumbers or whatever. We need to have some kind of teaching available to tell them not everybody's going to go to college, and there's a lot of big 5 or 6 figure jobs out there they could get through these other fields.
Yeah. We started a program this year through the Tech Center. Curtis Richens has done a great job, but it's an apprenticeship program to where the kids that maybe aren't necessarily geared towards, like you were talking about, college or university or a four-year degree, they take a morning class even before the day begins. So they start, I believe it's at 7 a.m. a couple days a week, and they learn job skills, and they learn just different things. And then by the second half of their junior year, they're spending a few hours a week with a local business. I know High Desert Milk is involved, Dot Food, McCain's, Fabri-Kal. So they do that their junior year. Then their senior year, they take a little bit more intensive class about job safety and different things like that. And then by the end of their senior year, so even before they graduate, they're working upwards of 20 to 30 hours a week already at these businesses. And then when they graduate, they are guaranteed a full-time, full-pay job.
Wow.
At age 18. So it's a pretty good program. We just rolled it out a few months ago. We made it available to 20 spots. We weren't quite able to fill those 20, but I think it's just a matter of time before it catches on and we start to get these individuals that are really geared towards those types of jobs and those types of careers.
Absolutely. Now, why don't you give us again a quick thumbnail sketch of when, where, how, and what do they have to wear? I mean, what's going to be the responsibility of the people coming to that job fair tomorrow night? Give us all the particulars.
Absolutely, yes. We're going to have it tomorrow evening at Burley High School from 5 to 7:30. We're going to hold it in the Burley High School gym. Last year we had it in the small gym, and we ran out of space with all the people in there. So we're going to be in the main gym at Burley High School. All of the schools from across Caddo County, not just Burley, but we're going to have Raft River, Oakley, Declo, Albion. Everybody's going to be there, as well as all of our departments, everything from IT, food services, transportation, maintenance. They're all going to be there. Last year we did have individuals that interviewed for jobs on the spot. So if anybody is just really gung-ho and knows that this is what they want to do, I would say dress up, have some resumes ready to go, be prepared, because you may be interviewed there, and there may even be job offers tomorrow evening, depending on what the numbers are and what openings are available. And so tomorrow, 5 to 7:30, Burley High School gym. Everybody that's interested, please come.
Now, quickly tell me, Andrew, what about number? Is there a number they can call for more information?
Yeah, absolutely. They can call Burley High School and chat with me, 208-878-6606. And then we also have an email address that I've been getting a lot of emails at. It's jobs@CAJAschools.org. Again, that's jobs@CAJAschools.org. And I'll get back with you as soon as I can if you email me or call me.
Oh, I tell you what, Andrew Ray, I appreciate this. You have a great personality. You can just hear the enthusiasm in your voice. This sounds like a great event tomorrow night, March 9th, at 5 to 7:30 at the Burley High School gym. Man, it's going to be great. Thank you for coming on the program this morning.
Absolutely, Zeb. It's always a pleasure. And if you're looking for a job, Zeb, go ahead and stop by. We'll hire you.
My wife might send me down. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, I love to have people on my program that have that enthusiasm, and Vice Principal Andrew Ray talking about this job fair. Wow, there are a lot of opportunities out there if you just have the initiative to go find out about them. Okay. Let's take a minute here and talk about our friends at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Hello, Dr. Bill and all the good folks over there. At Ark Animal Hospital, they've been voted Minnecacha's best veterinary hospital many, many times, Dr. Bill and the crew. And I want to urge you, that right now is the time to get your puppies vaccinated for that parvovirus. That is deadly. Make sure you get in there and get that vaccine for your puppies. And don't forget, too, February is teeth cleaning month. Not for you. Well, it might be. But for your puppy dogs. And make sure you make an appointment for that. And don't forget, too, that Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all and take care of them all at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. The number to call, number to remember, write it in big black on your refrigerator, 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. I don't know if this guy's nose is cold, but I'll tell you what, he is a great supporter of high school athletics and a good guy, and he is also the man, along with his great crew, at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Here comes the one, the only, Jeff Bronson. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Zeb. It's very nice to visit with you. How are you?
I am peachy, and I'll bet you are really excited this morning because you're going to be talking about a big anniversary sale.
That's right, and thank you for allowing me to take time with your listeners. Zeb, we have right now is our anniversary sale. Actually, if you can believe it, it's our 72nd anniversary.
So, well, you are old.
Been in the community for a long time.
You are an old man. I had no idea. You're very well preserved.
But hey, Zeb, really and truly, we've got great specials in every department. We have specials going right now in our sofas and love seats. Also with our dining room furniture. You know, March Madness is going to be coming up. If you need a new chair to watch those ball games, we have a huge new shipment of recliners in stock, all on sale, starting as little as $299. But we have some great men's chairs that have like the power mechanism, power headrest. Many of these chairs run between $499, $599 in many colors. Even we have leather. And Zeb, you've been in the store. You also realize that we've got great specials on floor covering.
Yep.
You know, now that the weather's finally breaking, it's a great time for the women to go in and be able to refresh their flooring.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of a great time to think spring and spruce up, right?
Yeah, get a fresh start, out with the old, in with the new. You know, to be able to just open up the windows, let the fresh air come in, all of that dust and dirt that builds up over the years in our floor covering, just to be able to refresh, have a new look, have a new feel. You know, it really does wonders for our homes.
Yeah, and you got such a great deal going on as 3 years interest-free on approved credit.
Yeah, that's correct. And so you can, for example, install carpet in your entire home for as little as $69 a month with this special. Again, it is interest-free. Many people wish to use their tax returns. This gives you flexibility going forward, how you'd like to pay for it. And so the advantage to you is you can get the great specials, the great savings, and be able to do it on your terms.
Now, I also want you to mention just briefly, if you would please, that at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, you have a newly expanded sleep center. What does that mean?
Yeah, so we've recently just purchased some new styles of mattresses at Las Vegas Furniture Market, which took place approximately 6 weeks ago. And so we've brought a number of these new mattresses in. Also, we have additional styles, meaning that we have more styles to choose from on the floor. We carry Simmons Beauty Rest. We carry the Ashley brand. We've got Sierra Sleep, a Diamond brand. So multiple companies. They all have fantastic warranties. And you can come in and you can actually lay on the bed, try the bed, feel the bed, and all of our beds have 30-day satisfaction guarantees. So this way you can actually purchase the bed that you felt, seen, and touched.
Let me ask you this question. How many people come in and say, well, you know what, we need to spruce up and beautify our home, but we don't know what to do and what's going to look good? I'm sure you got people on your staff that can help them.
Yeah, all of our staff are wonderfully qualified to answer those questions, but specifically Hillary and Emily. They do free consultations here in the store and in the home, and they can offer suggestions regarding the colors and styles. They are fantastic in being able to put together the complete look and feel of a home. And so many people want to make these decisions but want the confidence of having one of these gals be able to help them and give them suggestions and lead them in the right direction.
Absolutely. Now, this is all going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Tell us everything about that anniversary sale one more time, Jeff.
So our anniversary sale, Zeb, is for this coming week. I would recommend people hurry in because these also include all of the new furniture that we've just recently received. So all of our new merchandise has these significant discounts. We are located at 459 Overland Avenue in Burley. For those who are not familiar, it's the first stoplight south of the river. And so our hours weekdays are from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. and Saturdays 10 a.m. until 5 p.m.
And I want to just kind of sum it up that this is the big 72nd anniversary sale coming up, you said, next week, so it'd be the 12th through the 17th right there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Right, my friend?
That is correct, although we've just got all the pricing done, so anybody that wants to come in now can take advantage of those specials as well.
Jeff, it's good to hear from you. And by the way, I hope you enjoyed all your time up at the state tournament. We went up on Saturday for the championship, and a lot of people up there.
You know, I went up on Thursday and Friday. I didn't get to go Saturday, and I watched several of the games, and I will tell you, some incredible games. We have some fantastic young people in this area. I've got to tell you, that Burley game, they have a fantastic team, and, they did so well. I was so proud of them as well as the other teams. It's exciting to see these young people excel.
Absolutely. Jeff, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the folks at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Thank you for being on the program this morning.
Thank you, Zeb. You take care now.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Jeff Bronson, good old boy at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, and we appreciate him coming on the show here this morning. Let's see, what else have I got here? Next week on the program, wow, we managed to land some really, really big names. We've got Curtis Ellis coming on Monday, and Curtis, of course, known nationwide. He's on all the networks. He's on all the news shows and everything, and he's going to be talking about the Trump administration and the economy and tariffs. This guy is really, really good. And also on Monday, we've got Dr. John Barker, Frosty Woldridge. We've got a full plate starting next week and going all through the week. It's very seldom that I have everybody booked at least 2 weeks in advance, and we were really, really fortunate. We've landed some big names, Dr. Gerard Lamero, and many more that are going to be on the program this next week, so don't miss a minute of it. Going to be good. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studios, so don't you go away. More Zeb at the Ranch coming up.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
We have been blessed this week with a lot of interesting people on the program talking about whether it's politics or whether it's security, national security, or whether it's anything to do to try to make your life better. And this man falls into that category, and I'm going to say I wished I'd have read his book a long time ago, if he'd had it available a long time ago. We have Scott Paley on the program. He's an author with the title of the book called Get It Together, subtitled Cultural and Practical Tips to Be a Successful Adult. Holy smokes, Mr. Paley, where have you been? We've needed that for a long time.
I was busy working on my companies.
Okay.
I had to wait till I sold them before I could work on a project like this.
Well, okay, give us a thumbnail sketch of the book, what's in it, and what you're trying to tell people.
The book is a compilation of things that I've thought about over the years and I've used myself, and also things that I've heard about in the news that I felt needed addressing. The very first part of the book is a definition of what does success mean. And one of the things I try to do is to actually say that success isn't defined by how much money you have. It's about whether you do what you do with a high degree of integrity and skill.
Mm-hmm.
The next part had to do with mentors, because even if somebody read the whole book a few times, there's no way they would remember everything. So if they learn how to ask for help by cultivating mentors and adding them to what I call your team, then anything that happens in their lifetime could be made better if they went to people that had experience with things that they want to know about. But beyond that, the book is in 4 parts. The first part had to do with the culture that made America exceptional. And it talks about things like what made the country different, about the structure of the Constitution, et cetera. And these are all very short, mostly one-page sections, so it's not like a textbook. But also personal responsibility, hard work, keeping your word. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. How to interact with others, the authority figures, the police, what is basic honesty all about, and how do you find good friends? Also some basic American things like how to fold the flag and how to fly the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance and things like that may not be taught as much anymore. The second part has to deal with, and the target for this book is somewhere between a 16 and 17-year-old person all the way up into the 30s or maybe even beyond. So some parts wouldn't be applicable to someone that's older, but the second part has to do with how to get into college and pay for it without being in a huge amount of debt. So there's a whole section about financing in there, how to get a job, how to resign from a job, resumes, interviews, how to present yourself well so that you can actually be successful, and then how to be successful at work. If you have a job, how do you get ahead at that job? The third part has to do with finances, concepts like interest, compound interest, simple interest, different kinds of bank accounts, savings, checking, debit cards, credit cards, how to write a check, what is on your paycheck, what all the numbers on your paycheck mean, and how do you save for the future. There's another section there all about insurance. What kind of insurance should you have, depending on what stage of life you're in. And also legal documents that you might have. For example, getting a health care power of attorney in case you're a younger person and you're still single and you want your parents to help make decisions for you. Once you're 18, they can't do that anymore without that document. And then the last part has to do with how-tos of daily living, how to be prepared, how to be efficient and get a lot of things done, basic security, physical, personal, electronic security, how to be a good roommate and get a good roommate, renting an apartment, buying a car, taking care of the car, doing laundry, how to cook for yourself, and how to outfit your kitchen. So there's a lot of practical things in there, and I built them in that order because, each section sort of builds on the other. There's a base that you want to start from, and then you can work your way from there.
I can tell that this kind of a book, this type of a book, is not an easy book to write. And I'm sure it took you a lot of time to disseminate all the information and get everything categorized, etc. So looking at that, before you took up the first legal tablet and a pen, why did you want to write this book? What was the need that you felt that this book should be written?
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I've retired a couple of times. And this last time, I decided that I wanted to do something to give back. And I was trying to think of what I could do that would be a broader application than simply doing what I've been doing for years, which is volunteering in my own community. And I thought that other things that I'd noticed over time from hiring people and interacting with folks is a lot of people don't keep their commitments anymore. And it really boils down to what's the meaning of a handshake.
Right.
So for me, if I give you a handshake agreement that I'm going to do something, you can go to sleep knowing it's going to get done. That doesn't happen all the time anymore, and it affects everything in this country, from interaction with different people in just daily life to the way business gets done. So I thought to myself, these are some of the things that need to be addressed. And then, of course, you hear about a lot of things in the news about people being shot after being stopped by a policeman, or people yelling at each other and saying nasty things on social media when they're not really listening to each other. You have things that I've experienced with observations that my kids have had to deal with respect to their friends flaking out on plans that they've made with them. So there are all these kind of things, plus there's just basic things that you need to do. And I was thinking also, what happens when someone gets older and they haven't been doing these kind of success-building techniques all their life? When they get to the time of retirement, they don't have any money to retire on, and they have a very difficult time. So if you can talk to people when they're early and get them to using mentors, which this book's sort of a setup for that, then when they get to that point in their lives are going to be a lot more pleasant. And I just think I could make a lot of change this way with the ripple effect from people taking the advantage of this book.
I like your ideas. Now, let me ask you this, and I'm going to say this not in a vein to seem like I'm attacking the book, but I'm just asking a question in this venue. Is your book perhaps an indictment against poor parenting, bad education, and society in general?
Well, one of the things I did in the book is I tried not to be judgmental about things. I tried to make it factually based so that people could read it, they get the facts, and each section has why should you care. Almost a lot of them have why should you care at the bottom of it. So how would that apply to you? I would say that over time, things have gotten more casual in the sense that once upon a time, there are certain traditions that were, for want of a better word, beaten into you when you were a kid. You knew that was the way it was going to be. And now things are a lot more, it seems to me, at least from my observation, things are a little more casual. And what happens is you get out of school and you're really not prepared for what the world's going to do to you when you get out.
Absolutely.
And so you end up learning the hard way. And so I think there's the casualness of it. And then also, this has not been going on for a single generation. This has been happening for multiple generations. So you have parents that may not know these things as well.
Absolutely.
And they're not able to advise their children just simply because they didn't know themselves. Nobody taught them.
Let me ask you this, Scott.
I don't really see it as a bad thing. I just see it as a decline in the teaching of certain sort of skills that might be used later to allow you to be successful.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. We have seen the bus take the left turn in our society, and we've gone down to the end of that road, which is a dead-end road, and unfortunately it's making lives not better but worse. And we've lost, I'll say these things, and then I want you to respond. I think we've lost a work ethic in our society, and I think that has to be reinvigorated. I think we've lost patriotism in our society. That has to be reinvigorated. And I think we've lost courage in our society. How would you respond to what I just said?
I would tend to agree. I think, though, that when you think about it this way, one of the things I put in the book, and by the way, I cover all three of those things in the book, not in a belabored sort of way, but they're all in there. But what happens, unless somebody understands why that matters to them, they don't know why they should do it.
Yeah.
So one of the key parts about this is, why will it help you in a selfish way in the future? Because a lot of times when you're told to do things, you just don't do them.
Right.
But if it's for your benefit and you understand why it's for your benefit, then eventually you will do those things. I'll give you an example. One of the things that I put a section in the book is about no excuses friends. This is something I invented myself for a long time ago, and I always judge friends by whether I have to make excuses for them, like, well, they never call you unless they need something. Well, that's not the kind of friend you want to put a lot of effort into. Or you make plans with them, but they're always canceling. That's also a person you don't want to put a lot of effort into. So think about this. You have a young person they're in high school and they have friends that do that to them, or they might have a car and some of their friends don't have a car, and they're the ones that provide all the rides. So the question is, how do you figure out whether the person's a true friend or somebody that's just using you for your car? Now, if you figure that out when you're really young, it'll save you a lot of heartache in the future.
Absolutely.
But not only that, if you demand certain types of behavior from your friends, then hopefully their friends will start demanding it from theirs, and on, and you see that ripple effect that goes out and makes change on a broad basis. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for.
Well, I have said all my life that each and every person is the captain of their own ship. And if that ship runs aground, it's your own fault. Would you agree with that?
I would say that in some cases, yes. Many cases, possibly, yes. But sometimes you're just not oriented to certain things.
That's true.
So you're just, it's not because you're bad, it's just because you don't know.
Yep.
And that's, you could point your finger to a lot of places. You could say it's the parent's fault. Well, but you could also say the kid could look at some successful person out there and say, how did they become successful?
Right.
And then go research it for themselves. But that takes curiosity. Well, maybe that particular person is just not the curious sort. Well, then maybe they need to learn those life skills in a class somewhere or get a book like this. So I hate to put labels on folks. I'm kind of a hard type person, but after getting a little older, you can see why you can't always put things neatly in a box.
Absolutely. Now, when people buy your book, get your book, read your book, and they close the cover after they're done reading the book, what do you want them to take away from the book?
It's as I said in the beginning. The very first two sections are how do you define success and how do you find a mentor. And one of the things in the book, all through the book, there are exercises in there where you can actually write in the book, and there's a script in there, for example, on how to make a phone call to talk to somebody about being a mentor for you. If I could just impress upon folks to come up with their own definition of success, learn how to ask for help from mentors, people who are more experienced that they highly respect, then the book could be a reference for them during the rest of their life, and at least they're oriented to the things that they should need to know. For example, saving for the future. One of the things I put in there is once you have 6 months' worth of living expenses saved up that you don't touch, then go and hire a financial advisor to be on your team.
Right.
Well, they may not remember the things in the book about how to save for the future, for example, and how to do investments and things like that, which I didn't really cover to any extent. But they will remember that they need to go find a financial advisor to ask for advice. That's the kind of thing that can lead you to a successful life. The question is, why would you learn the hard way on your own when you can ask somebody that may have already learned the hard way and you can gain from their experience?
Well, I'll go back and say this, that I think our educational system, as it is today, as compared to when it was when I was in school, and I'm an old man, I think it is lacking and has put on the shelf a lot of the good learning experiences for life that we needed to know through our school system, but are not being touched today. Would you agree with that statement?
I would say so, yes.
And any other elaboration on the book? I mean, I love the idea about these kids getting to know about financial bank accounts, how to balance a checkbook, credit cards, debit cards, saving for the future. And like you said just a moment ago, there's a lot of us old fogies that might have dropped the ball that maybe we could turn into better mentors for the younger generation if we'd read your book. Where can we find your book?
Well, the book's available on Amazon. Under Scott Paley, P-A-L-Y, or Get It Together. And I have a website, it's getittogethertips.com, so it could be purchased from there as well.
Well, I certainly want to wish you a lot of success with the book. How's it going so far, by the way?
I've actually been pleasantly surprised that I haven't had a wave of bad of bad criticism. Everybody seems to really like it. In fact, I had a friend of mine that I didn't realize had bought the book that sent me an email yesterday saying that she happened to have her niece living with her for about 6 months before she went to law school.
Uh-huh.
And she said she had to teach her about half the things in my book. And it was really great. It was all in one place. It was well written. It's not like a textbook. It's most of the things are fairly short, so that you can get the point without having to wade through pages and pages of text.
Well, Scott, I want to tell you how much. I'm sorry. Go ahead. There was a delay there, Scott. Go ahead. Finish up, please.
No, it's okay. I'm fine.
Well, I was just going to say I wish you a lot of success with this book, and it's entitled Get It Together, Cultural and Practical Tips to Be a Successful Adult. Thank you for being on the program, and I want to urge you to come back in the future. I'm going to make sure I get a copy of that, read it, and then have you back. Thank you, Scott Paley, for being on the program this morning.
I really appreciate you having me. Have a good day.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. You know, that young man, I'm assuming he's a young man, has absolutely got his stuff together, and he, as a family man, knows what these kids need to know, and they're not getting as far as an education is concerned. The book, again, is called Get It Together, Cultural and Practical Tips to Be a Successful Adult, Scott Paley. Okay, let me see what else have I got here. Real quick, I've got to get a weather forecast on. And then I'd love to have a couple of calls to wrap up the program for this morning. And the weather is brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. I've known Don Scarrow for a long time. And they have that company over there, delicious, delicious meats at Scarrows Meats. You can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com, and find out all about the breakfast bacons and the sausages and the bratwurst and the prime ribs. Oh, it's fantastic. Scarrows Meats, north of Jerome. Right now, here's the weather.
Enjoy this day while we have it, because tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Partly sunny skies for today. A slight breeze out of the east, right around 5 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 48. Tonight, more clouds are going to roll into the valley, looking at a 10% chance of snow showers, especially up in the higher elevations. Mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 35. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the morning, switching to rain by tomorrow afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 47. And then for tomorrow night, 20% chance of rain showers in the evening. Mostly cloudy skies with a low right near 29 as we head on into the weekend. Mostly sunny skies, high of 44. For Saturday night, mostly clear and a low of 24. Then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. So that's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, I just wished we could just have some days of sunshine and 60 to 65 degrees. Oh, yes, I've got the spring fever. Weather forecast brought to you by our friends at Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. And I'm telling you, everything they have is absolutely delicious. Don't forget, give them a call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Scarrows Meats. All right, your turn. I'd love to have a couple of calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call and talk about anything or anybody that we've had on the program this morning, and share it with me for just a little bit. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is right there, there you go. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Good morning, Zeb. I was driving. Will you hit that job fair thing again? Do you have all right info?
Oh, I do, but I'm going to have to call my wife. I think I put it on a pile of papers that went out into the other room. I'll tell you what, I will have her run in and see if we can find that quick. It's tomorrow night at the Burley High School. from 5 to 7:30, I believe it was, and they're going to have that job fair. So tomorrow evening at Cash. Deanne, could you look over there and see if you could find that job fair paper for me really quick? When I'm finished with things, I have a tendency to put them on another pile, and no, that's not it, Deanne. It's on a big piece of paper with the job fair, and I cannot find it. I had it right here in front of me, and it is gone. So I know it's tomorrow evening at Burley High School, and anybody else that I'm stumbling here trying to find it for that gentleman, and I can't. No, Deanne, it's on a big piece of white paper. Evidently, we can't find it, so I had it here a moment ago. Maybe the paper gremlins came in and stole it from me. I don't know. But tomorrow evening, Burley High School in the gym, and I believe it's from 5 to 7:30, and don't miss it. Should be very, very interesting. Sorry I couldn't find that exact paper. I have a bad habit of either filing them in file 13 when I'm done with them or putting them on other stacks of paper, which I did in this case, and I can't find it right now. There it is, my lovely bride to the rescue. The job fair tomorrow night, March 9th, 5 to 7:30, like I said, and all people are welcome, and there's going to be a lot of people there talking about possibility of teacher jobs, cooking jobs, coaching jobs, secretary jobs, etc. Don't miss that tomorrow evening at the Burley High School. Whew! Thank you, Deanne. You saved my bacon. Want to remind everybody about a big spring tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations saying big spring tire sales, save money, like on the Eclipse tire for your car, starting at just $61.97, all-season traction, advanced tread design, ho-ho, and then for your pickups and SUVs, the Open Country HT. Wow! Smooth ride, quiet running, all of these tires. All of the tires on sale for the big spring tire sale, along with the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, and service. They really take care of you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Well, that'll teach me to throw something in the garbage that I shouldn't have. Anyhow, thank you very much for tuning in this week. A couple of quick notes. We've had people ask, again, how about cow pies and coffee cups, my weekly blog? Go to zebbell.com, leave your address on there, and we'll start sending it to you. And don't forget, zebbell.com, you can also tune in out of the area and listen for the 3 hours I'm on the air, Monday through Thursday. And we appreciate you. We really do. We appreciate all your listeners and your calls, etc. And we'll be back here on Monday at 8:06 right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m. And what we always say at the end of the program, the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless. We'll see you Monday.